Bill Gates' LinkedIn profile is amazing? Let's find out. Bill Gates recently shared his college-era resume by posting it on LinkedIn. And for today's video, we're going to be going in depth on the resume and finding out things that bosses should learn from Bill Gates. Without further ado, let's dive in. Whether you're a recent grad or a college dropout, he wrote, "I'm sure your resume looks a lot better than mine did 48 years ago." At this time, over 200,000 people have reacted to it. Thousands more have shared and commented. It's been critiqued, judged, and filleted across the internet, mainly for the benefit of people who are writing resumes and applying for jobs. That's great, but we're also intrigued to look at this from the eyes of a business owner. In short, would you have hired or passed on Bill Gates? And what lessons can we learn? Let's go. At number 7, the objective is limited. Gates said he's looking for a position as a systems analyst or systems programmer. I'm not sure what a systems analyst did back in 1974, but let's assume people who were reading this resume did. Still, sometimes you as the business owner might have a better idea of what opportunities you can offer than the applicant. Can you get past the boxes a highly qualified applicant who might have put himself or herself in? At number 6, the format is rough. It was 1974, so there weren't many options, but almost a third of the resume is filled with biographical details, like 2 different addresses and even Gates' height and weight back then, 5'10", 130 pounds. Plus, who wants to read Courier 12 point? It's easy to dismiss for these reasons, but it's a reminder. Are you hiring someone to write resumes? If not, while the format matters for your convenience, doesn't matter for the job. At number 5, it lists his current salary. Even as an 18-year-old Harvard freshman, Gates has claimed to be making $12,000 a year in 1974, the equivalent of about $72,000 today. Of course, I don't think anyone would advise putting a current salary on your resume in 2022. Or, as he wrote, that he was unmarried with no dependents. Still, I guess this would be an intriguing tactic today, if one that flies in the face of current trends. It might possibly lead you to increase an offer to a promising candidate, or even to weed out those you couldn't afford or whose expectations don't match yours. At number 4, 1 page is enough. Gates' resume gets a gold star for concision. It's human nature, but it's easier to get a picture of a candidate with a short resume, even if it shows a little less detail. In fact, we've found ourselves telling applicants that we'd prefer if they'd keep their resumes to 1 page, and they'd provide us with a link, just 1 work sample to start. At number 3, it completely violates the XYZ rule. I was wondering why it's even fair to judge Gates' 1974 resume against a standard that Google developed somewhere in the early 2000s that its former senior vice president of personnel described around 2011. Let's do it anyway. The most effective resumes are ones that use the XYZ format. Accomplished X is measured by Y by doing Z. So yeah, Gates didn't really do that. If applicants don't do that, perhaps it does make sense to take a few extra steps to try to pull out what they might be saying in their resumes, even if they don't explain it as concisely. Number 2, look for the benefit, not the feature. Again, speaking from experience, it's absolutely frustrating if you get a poorly organized resume and have to hunt for details yourself. Gates has all the details of some of his positions, but it requires quite the patience to read them, as written, and get to the good parts. For example, how he built and sold a school scheduling program in Fortran for $10,000. So if you're an employer who takes the extra time to decode what applicants are saying, you might have an advantage over competitors. And at number 1, it comes from a go-between. Another thing I wanted to point out is that the version of this resume that Gates shared is interesting because there's a business card stapled to the top. Howard Levin and Ralph P. McIntyre of RSVP Services, which stood for Recruitment, Selection, Vocational Counseling, and Placement. As Mark Senadella, founder of Ladders, wrote, this was standard practice in recruiting when search consultants mailed resumes to clients. And by mail, I mean physical, United States Post Office snail mail, not email or text. Yeah, recruiters did business quite differently back then. Let's just take this as a reminder that good candidates can come from a lot of unexpected places. Anyway, that wraps up our video for today. What'd you think? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.